I think about the hundreds of thousands of veterans who have decided to raise their right hand and serve our country in order to defend what they believe in: liberty, justice, freedom, freedom of speech. And it's been going on for a very, very long time, and many have given their lives. But these veterans are special people. They're people who, less than 1% of the population today, choose to raise their right hand, and I'm very proud of those who still are willing to do that. They are important to our country, and they are important to ensure that people understand that we will always defend our freedoms.
You've done so much in your career, not only in the theater, as it were, Chief of Staff of the Army, 2011 to 2015. You're on the board of Oshkosh Corp, Senior Advisor to Teneo, Senior Advisor to Commissioner Goodell of the National Football League. What about your service has translated so well into civilian life? Well,
I think I tell everyone that leadership and organizational capability is the same everywhere. What changes the environment that you operate in. And so what I've tried to do is share my experiences that I've had, the challenges I've had, the mistakes I've made, what I have found in successful organizations, what I see in the best leaders that have worked for me over time. And I try to help people to understand that, because any business, whether it's in the military or in the financial sector or anywhere, it's about people. It's about getting people to come together to achieve extraordinary outcomes. And so that's what I try to do as best I can to help people understand that.
I mentioned that you're a senior advisor now to JP Morgan. Jamie Dimon, of course, Chairman and CEO, kind enough to send me a comment today via email about what Veterans Day and what veterans mean to the firm. I want to read this to all of you, and then I'll have you react on the other side and tell us a little bit more about what JP Morgan's doing. This from Jamie Dimon. "We hold our U.S. veterans in the highest regard, owe them an enormous debt of gratitude," he wrote. Since 2011, JP Morgan Chase has hired nearly 14,000 veterans across all lines of business and influenced others to do the same. As leaders of the Veteran Jobs Mission, a coalition of more than 200 companies that has hired 470,000 veterans, we will continue to develop programs that enrich their careers, increase retention and satisfaction. He sent me another note, how proud he is to have you a part of their firm. You think corporate America is doing enough? And this is a great example, but does more need to be done?
Yeah, I think it's important. I mean, that's how I actually got to know Jamie, is when I was Chief of Staff of the Army. I came to see him several times on the work they were doing to try to hire veterans. And at that, 200,000 veterans leave the military every year. People don't realize that. It's a huge number. And all they want is an opportunity. And so one of the things I was encouraged with the work JP Morgan was doing in leading this coalition was providing them opportunities, that after they were done serving, that they gave that time to their country, they now were given opportunities to do some other things that they might like to do in helping their families grow. So for me, it's very important. People take for granted, I think, what we have in this country. They take for granted how we live. They take for granted about how we got here. And I think veterans are a great reminder of the sacrifice that still has to be given in order for us to sustain this incredible life that we have living in this country. I'm so thankful every day that I was born here in the United States. I was very lucky that I was born here, especially after I've lived and worked all around the world. I realize how lucky I am.
Yeah, I'm sure some of our traders have a question for you, General. Jim Lebenthal is a veteran himself, sitting right next to you. Jim?
Well, yes, General, thank you for joining us. Look, I can't help but be amazed being in front of these young men and women who, as you know, have given up considerable freedoms and rights so that we can enjoy ours. And when we talk about them entering the workforce, sometimes it almost sounds like charity. You and I both know that it's not. And the question that I have for you, when I came out 20 years ago, I was working with reactor technicians, radio operators, sonar technicians who were incredibly trained, incredibly driven, and they were tough. They had taken punches and gotten back up, dusted themselves off. I look at these men and women, I see they're even better than the ones I worked with, than who I was myself. Do you see the training, the level of expertise, the level of discipline, the level of toughness ever increasing in these men and women?
It's incredible. The intellectual capacity that our young men and women have today is beyond what it was when I first came into the Army. It's very, very different. But it's beyond that. It's just not the intellectual capacity and their technical capabilities. It's their leadership abilities. It's their dedication. It's what they do every day to do their jobs and what they have to give up, the selflessness and the sacrifice. Every good company needs selflessness, sacrifice. They need people who are determined, and that's what you get when you hire a veteran.